Here is a full detailed narrative of the true story of Homo erectus mastering fire, based on the latest archaeological evidence. The world, 1.5 million years ago. The scene is not a single event, but a slow, stumbling dawn over hundreds of thousands of years. The world is in the grip of the Pleistocene ice ages. In what we now call East Africa, the landscape is a patchwork of savanna grasslands, scattered acacia woodlands, and volcanic highlands. Megafauna roam the land, towering elephants, fierce saber-toothed cats, and herds of antelope. For our ancestors Homo erectus, life is precarious. They are tall, lean, and fully bipedal, with large brains capable of complex thought and social structure. They are sophisticated tool makers, crafting elegant, symmetrical hand axes, Acheulean tools, that are a massive leap from the crude flakes of their predecessors. But as the sun sets, a profound darkness falls, and with it a deep primal fear. The night is a realm of predators. The chilling chorus of hyenas, the rasping cough of a leopard, the silent swoop of an owl, all are constant reminders of their place in the food chain. The cold is biting. Without fur, they huddle together for warmth, their teeth chattering. Their diet is primarily raw, tubers, roots, raw meat, and marrow, which require immense energy to chew and digest. The first encounters: fear and fascination. For generations, fire was not a tool but a terrifying force. They witnessed it rage across the savannah after a lightning strike, a roaring, consuming beast that moved faster than any animal. They saw it spew from the peaks of volcanoes like Mount Olorgesailie in the Kenyan Rift Valley. They smelled the acrid smoke and saw the charred remains of trees and animals in its wake. Their first instinct was flight. But at a safe distance, fascination grew. They noticed things. After the fire passed, the land was cleared, making it easier to walk and spot predators or prey. They stumbled upon the carcasses of animals caught in the blaze. The meat was different. It was easier to chew, richer in flavor, and strangely, it seemed to fill them up faster and for longer. They might have tentatively picked at a cooked leg of an antelope, their minds making a slow subconscious connection. This was the first step: opportunistic scavenging from natural fires. They learned to track the smoke on the horizon, not to avoid it, but to exploit it. They were not yet masters, but beneficiaries of a natural phenomenon. The leap from scavenging to curating. The critical evolutionary leap was moving from simply using wildfires to actively curating fire. This is where the evidence from sites like Wonderwerk Cave in South Africa and Chesawanja in Kenya becomes crucial. Imagine a small band of Homo erectus tracking a wildfire. As the rain begins to fall, they see the main blaze die down, but a large log continues to smolder, emitting a warm, gentle glow. Instead of moving on, one particularly curious individual, perhaps driven by memory of the warmth and cooked food, approaches. Using a sturdy branch, they carefully separate the burning log from the wet ash. They experiment, feeding it dry grass, twigs, and dried dung. They learn that some materials feed the flame while others snuff it out. They learn to nurse the embers to keep the red flower alive. The most plausible theory is that their first containers for transporting fire were natural. A hollowed-out piece of wood or a heavy animal skull filled with slow-burning, smoldering materials like dry dung or tree bark. They could now carry this precious, glowing prize back to a place of safety. The first home. The ability to bring fire to a sheltered location, like the mouth of a cave or a simple windbreak, was a revolution. It created the first true hearth, the center of social and cultural life. Protection. For the first time in history, the night was pushed back. The circle of light from the fire became a safe zone. Predators, with their instinctive fear of fire, would not cross it. The group could sleep in shifts, guarded by a member tending the flames, significantly increasing their safety and reducing stress. Warmth. This was a physiological game changer. Fire allowed them to spread into colder climates, eventually paving the way for their migration out of Africa into Asia and Europe. It reduced the energy their bodies needed to stay warm, potentially diverting that energy to brain development. Food. Cooking became intentional. The nutritional implications were profound. Cooked meat and tubers are softer, meaning they required less chewing, potentially leading to changes in jaw and tooth size. More importantly, cooking pre-digests food, breaking down proteins and complex carbohydrates, making calories and nutrients far more accessible. This efficient energy intake is argued by some scientists, like the cooking hypothesis, to have been a key driver in supporting their larger, more energy-hungry brains. Social center. The hearth became the first classroom, the first kitchen, the first council chamber. Groups gathered around the fire for warmth, to cook, to share food, and to socialize. This likely accelerated the development of communication, storytelling, and social bonding, strengthening the group's cohesion and culture. The evidence, how we know this story. This isn't just a fable. We know this from several key archaeological sites. Wonderwerk Cave, South Africa, c. 1.8 million, 1 million years ago. Deep inside this cave, archaeologists have found burned bits of bone and ash alongside stone tools. Crucially, the remains are inside a cave, far from where a natural wildfire could have reached. This is some of the strongest evidence for the early control of fire by Homo erectus. 2. Chesawanja, Kenya, c. 1.5 million years ago. Here, archaeologists found fractured red clay patches that had been heated to over 400 degrees, consistent with the temperatures of a human-controlled fire pit, not a fleeting wildfire. 3. Koobi Fora, Kenya, c. 1.5 million years ago. Evidence of heated rocks and clay in a pattern that suggests a concentrated source of heat, again hinting at controlled use. It's important to note that the evidence suggests this was not a one-time eureka moment for the entire species. It was a skill that was likely discovered, lost, rediscovered, and slowly passed on over hundreds of thousands of years across different populations. The legacy, the foundation of humanity. The mastery of fire by Homo erectus was not merely a technological innovation, it was a biological and cultural turning point. It provided the catalyst for expansion out of Africa into colder environments, the platform for a better diet, which may have fueled the evolution of even larger brains in their descendants. The first safe space which allowed for complex social structures to form. A profound psychological shift. For the first time, a species was not entirely at the mercy of nature. They had harnessed one of its most powerful forces. This long, patient process of observation, experimentation, and curation, beginning around 1.5 million years ago, truly lit the spark of human civilization. The story of Homo erectus and fire is the story of us laying the first brick in the foundation of everything that was to come.